Hey everyone. Hi
Hello.
Devan. Hi John.
Hey, everybody.
Devan, thank you so much for joining John and I today, this evening, for this exclusive interview. Okay.
Yes, of course.
You and Jihoon have been making headlines lately. You were both not invited to the tell-all over abuse allegations. Let's just go ahead and dive right into this.
Okay.
What happened? Why were you not invited?
I wouldn't say we weren't invited. What happened is I got a phone call from the lawyer, and they advised that it would be best that me and my family not go, so we're not around the person that has the allegations. They've been aware of these allegations for months, and they've been trying to figure out what to do in that aspect. And we came to a mutual agreement that, yeah, it's not the best decision for me to go. However, like, I'm still being paid for it. I'm still being paid for the show. They're still going to continue with the show.
That's okay. Now, you claim he physically mishandled your daughter, Driscella, and you accuse him and his parents of doing some vile things during the time you guys were in Korea. Can you explain that?
Yeah, some bad things happen behind the scenes. I can't get too far into detail about it because there is an open case right now. And that's why I haven't spoken out on it. The only thing I've ever said was they've done some vile things. And then as for his part, he decided to kind of defend what he did before anyone even said what he did. I'm still being hush on it because what I'm doing is I'm trying to protect my daughter, and it is a case right now. And I feel like fans, once the case is over and comes out, I feel like fans are going to realize why I did what I did, why I came to America, and what I'm doing. I think right now the fans are too concerned about the TV show and that kind of stuff. And they're too wrapped up into the TV show to understand that reality and television can be very different. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'll take over. Monica, are you there? I'm sorry, I was too busy being my husband at the moment. I was just reading the comments. How have you been handling with everything the last few days, Devan?
Like the internet, or?
Yeah, it's been pretty rough on you. And like, how you been coping with everything?
It's been extremely rough. I've been trying to not stay on social media. I've been doing my own thing. I did turn off my comments, just because the comments were getting a little bit too toxic. And when something's toxic and they don't know the reality of the situation, what's actually happening, I don't blame them for attacking me because I haven't said what happened. I haven't said my side, but because I'm not going to play the social media game, I'm going to do the legal thing. I'm going to make sure that justice is handled the way it should be. And
I can hear you. Okay, I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Why do you feel like everyone's like ganging up against you?
I feel like it's an equal amount of love and hate. I feel like more of the hate is coming from his certain fan base, and his certain fan base, they're very, very, gung-ho. They don't want to look at both sides. As for my fan base, they're kind of looking at both sides, and they're kind of like seeing what's going on to try and determine the truth. As for that certain fan base, I don't think that they can wrap their head around the reality of the situation, so they just want to lash out on me, which actually isn't helping, and it's not helping his case either. It's making things worse on both parts, even his.
Okay, so like there's been like, I read the comments, I post about you, and I've seen things. How do you feel when people are saying like, oh, well, Driscella is unbehaved, and if she got if someone got handsy with her, then she deserved it. Like I see
Yeah.
parents saying that, saying, well, you know, her kid is running amok, and you know,
Hmm.
she gets what she's, you know, she gets what she's.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's gross because my daughter is one of the nicest, most loving little girls who accepts everyone. She's super sweet. And it just really breaks my heart that they're judging her off of a show that is heavily edited. Of course, I'm not going to say the show, but as people may know, reality TV is not real, in that there are storyboards put in place beforehand by a team, and this team will write a story and be like, this is what we want your story to be. And sadly, they can use a child in that story and edit it however they want to fit their story. And, you know, most of the time with interviews with reality TV, I'm not saying mine, they already have the script written out for the interview, what they want you to say, how they say it. And unfortunately, because you sign a contract, you have to say it, or you can be sued for $50,000. And a lot of people are wondering why did she say everything's fine 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago? It's because I was under an NDA. And if I broke that NDA, I would owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I don't have hundreds and thousands of dollars to pay. So yes, I am stuck in a slave contract. It is a slave contract where I have to do everything they want me to do. And I don't think people wrap their head around that.
You know, I can attest to that. Reality television, it kind of like writes itself, right? If they catch your child acting bratty or undisciplined at some point in time, they run with that.
Yeah.
So they'll make her into that type of character. So I can understand that. You mentioned that there's an active case going on.
Mm-hmm.
So Jihoon was reported to the police?
So in Korea, the police were called in Korea. The open case is going to be in America because we do have jurisdiction. As for Korea, that's another story. I cannot make those police reports public. They have a very strict law over there that protects criminals, where you can't say their name, you can't show their face. And if you watch, anyone knows anything about Korea, you watch any documentary about killers, you know that their names have never been released, their faces have never been released. Everything's always blurred out because Korea does have a strict law protecting those people, and I can understand that. So with those phone calls, I cannot make it public, and I know people are wanting me to. But secondly, I would not make it public because I am handling it in a legal matter, and I'm not going to jeopardize my child's safety just so fans know what's going on.
I read someplace that he's facing up to 10 years in prison.
That's not true.
Okay.
He could, but this case has nothing to do with that. This has to do with something else. And he could, if they want to do that, but I'm not going to speak on that.
Okay. I understand. So TLC helped you return to Utah over the accusations, and they're paying for therapy for Driscella. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It is 100% right. They saw the video of me pleading for help, and the next day, and of course they wanted to send a camera crew, which
Deavan, how did that come about? Like, you pleading for help? Like, what happened?
It was what happened that night, and I had called John the next day when this happened in Korea. And that's why John knows a lot, because I would call him almost every day in Korea, telling him how I was trying to get out and I couldn't because all my flights kept getting canceled because of COVID. And I was so done. And at this point, we were filming like self-quarantine type videos. And this certain video, I was just done with life in general and everything. And it was more of like a goodbye video. And I was so upset and done with filming all these videos that they kept asking me to do, that this was my like final video. I was done. And when they saw it, you know, they realized that this is serious, and they did help, but in a way of sending me extra payments, so I was able to get the ticket right away. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna find you a flight and get you that. It was more like, okay, we're gonna send you an early payment so you can get out of there, and we're gonna send a camera crew up to you and document it, which is upsetting.
You kind of like touched on something, and you know, you were in a bad place, and you would reach out to TLC for help, and what did they do? They sent a camera crew to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead of, you know, they wanted to monopolize kind of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I guess at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and, you know, they need cameras filming everything, but that was kind of like maybe like a not great move to make on their part.
No, not at all. And I've said that several times, and even that day was very stressful. I can't talk about it too much because the show hasn't aired yet, but that certain day was when I finally lost it, and I was done with TLC and Sharp, and I let them know that.
Now, the rumor is Jihoon was fired. Is that true?
The way they said it to me, it sounded like it.
Okay. Girl, this is a lot to take in. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Lydia, your good friend Lydia, did a live this week with 90 Day Fiance Instagram blogger Yahoo Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Yahoo Boy on Instagram. All you 90 Day Fiance fans, go follow him. His content's amazing. During that live, Lydia exposed private text messages between you and her regarding the mistreatment.
Yes.
I have those text messages and I want to pull them up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with the first one. It says, he admitted to pulling her hair, saying it was because of school and a lesson. And when in reality, it was 3 a.m. and she got up for water, and he pinned her to the ground and pulled out 3 inches worth of her hair. And then I called the police, and he hit her, and he pushed me to the ground, locking himself in a room with Taeyang, threatening to kill himself and Taeyang. Whew.
That's deep.
Yeah, really deep.
Yep, and that was the night before I sent the videos, and people are going to see the video I sent on the upcoming season, which is also hurts me that they're going to put that on TV of me in my lowest state asking for help, and that's really heart-wrenching. I don't like thinking about it because it really does hurt me inside.
Mm-hmm.
I never said what happened. I want to make that clear. I've never said openly he hurt my daughter, ever. The way this conversation happened and privately was I said some vile things happened, and then he decided to go on a 16-page rant and say, oh yeah, I pulled her hair one time. So he was admitting to that, but he was trying to victim blame her by saying, oh, it's because she's bad in school. First of all, Driscella never went to a real school. She had an English class that was done by a friend of mine for 2 hours a day. It wasn't a real school. And something bad really did happen that day at school, where I don't want to get too much into it because I will release all of this when court's over. Driscella has sat me down several times to tell me what he did to her that day at school when he came to get her. And it's very heartbreaking. It's very sad. Now, as for the hair pulling, that happened a month later at 3 a.m. I won't get too into the details, but basically what you saw in that DM is the gist of it. I do have the whole fight on video because I started to secretly record the fights, and it's very heartbreaking. And that's what made me leave. I wasn't going to allow that anymore. I tried to get out in March and escape in March because that's when the incident at school happened.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, my flight got canceled due to COVID. At this time, Jihoon was not working. He hadn't been working that entire time. He never had a job. And he was doing YouTube with me, and I was doing my stuff and my savings to pay for everything. And as for YouTube, we put on a face. But at this point in time, we were sleeping in different rooms. We weren't communicating. And then it got to a point where I had to beg him to get a job. And mainly, it wasn't because of money. It was mainly because I didn't want him near me. And he did end up getting a job just a month before I left, doing delivery. And he was working long hours. He didn't pay for anything. I paid for everything. He didn't. All of his money still went to his account. And then he was still using my credit cards, my debit cards for whatever the hell he wanted. And that was just a way to get him out of the house. So he wasn't near us until I could finally leave. Mm-hmm. He was never home during the last 4 months, because if he was home, he didn't go home till about 4 a.m. And he would just be drunk and playing video games, and then he'd sleep in till about 3 p.m., wake up, shower, and then go back. And it was just that every day. So I see him for like 10 minutes a day. And so his statement where he was saying I was working all the time, that he was working all the time for 1 month out of that year. As for him losing his job over me calling him to come home, that's false. He was still working at the company up until a month ago. I'm assuming he quit. I'm not going to talk on that because I'm not entirely sure what happened with that, but that's false. He's also claimed he hasn't seen Taeyoung in a year, and that post, that's false. He saw Taeyoung back at May 1st when I left Korea. Mm-hmm. Him saying he's going to get Driscella's school reports, that's also false. He can't do that. And it wasn't a real school. And what happened that day at school was she actually threw a fit because the teacher was asking if he should call Jihoon, and she was upset and didn't want Jihoon near her. I have talked to this teacher. I am friends with this teacher, not anymore because of something else that happened, but he knew the stuff that was going on with Jihoon. And Jihoon's trying to act like it's Driscella's fault, and that's why he pulled her hair, because he didn't admit to it. But he's making it sound like, oh, it's just like this. I was teaching her not to hurt other girls. No, it was 3 a.m., and I'm not even kidding. It's this much of her hair was gone. This much.
Oh, my God.
And it was just one pull at 3 a.m. I heard her scream, and I went to go see what's going on, and then all that bad stuff happened.
I mean, even if it was one strand of hair, that's too much. He should not be pulling that child's hair.
Yeah.
That's just not acceptable. Any kind of abuse on any level. Now, before we go on, how did you feel about Lydia exposing these messages? Because they're private messages.
I was upset because it wasn't like as if I was venting to her. Really, the reason I had sent her those messages was because she had messaged me angry at me about a YouTuber who made a video about me. And I was explaining to her, no, I don't care about the YouTuber's video. It has nothing to do with his video. I sent this message to him 2 weeks before his videos were posted. And the message was about him trying to say I pay Cheryl money to talk good about me, which is false. And that he said that he had these documents and him and Jihoon are working together.
They said you paid Cheryl's World to talk about you. I'm sorry to jump in.
And that's what I was messaging him about. It had nothing to do with the video. I don't care about the video. And she was upset about that. I was like, no, this is what happened. And then she continued to say, I talked to Jihoon, and I, was very on the defense, and me being a mother being like, no, this is what happened. It was more like being like, hey, this is what happened. Please leave me alone about it. It wasn't something I wanted her to share. I understand she's trying to stand up for my family. I understand that. But there's a reason why I've been so tight-lipped and I haven't said my side. And unfortunately, because of the messages, I now have to speak out and say my side. as little as possible without hurting my court case.
Now, that's a lot of here. Did Driscella receive medical attention?
No.
No, wait. No, Devin, before you answer that, I'm sorry, Monica, to jump in. You didn't ask Lydia specifically to leak these screenshots. I know you didn't, but I just want you to.
No.
Right. So
I went into the live and said I was upset.
people are saying that in an Ashley-esque fashion, that you went to Lydia to leak these screenshots to garner sympathy for you, but that wasn't the case.
No, absolutely not. No.
And when I called you last night while I was working and I had to pull over, I said, Devin, I don't know what's going on, but I see that Lydia's posting that there's screenshots of your conversation with Lydia that's being on a live right now. You had no idea.
No idea. No, I remember you calling me. And excuse me, I went straight to the live and I said I wasn't okay with it. And I get what they were trying to do.
Right. They were trying to, help you at the end of the day. But
when it comes to that, I feel like all people should ask before showing that, because it could potentially hurt my case when it comes to that stuff. So that's what really hurt me too. That, and I didn't want to speak about it because this is my daughter. This is her private business, and there's a reason why I haven't said what happened.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Monica.
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, I can't see comments, whoever's commenting, because
Devin, do me a favor. On your other phone, turn the volume all the way down.
I don't have my other phone on.
Oh, you don't have the YouTube of this live open anywhere?
No.
Oh. All right. We're getting a little bit of feedback. Okay. Well, as I was saying before, did Driscella receive any medical attention for the hair being removed from her scalp?
No.
Okay.
No. They don't care about children over there. It's unfortunate.
Oh,
I called the police 4 times during that night. I have a good friend out in Korea who happens to be a police officer, and he told me straight up, if it's a foreigner, they don't go. They don't believe babies. They don't go. It's very complicated how it works in Korea, and I'm happy that I have this friend who is a police officer over there, and I'm very grateful for him with helping. It's just really sad.
That's terrible. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue reading these texts, these private messages between you and Lydia. You said, I requested the police phone. I have photos and documents of all her injuries and also recorded almost every fight. And he knows that, so he's trying to cover his tracks on social media. She responds, holy-ish, wow, you have to release it. Public opinion is on the other side right now. I'll continue reading it. You say to her, TLC knows everything and they have known. They are paying for therapy for Driscella and they fired Jihoon. Okay, that's the same one. And they are still paying me. I'm not going to the tell-all because Jihoon got fired. So there's no point in still being paid for the tell-all. Once it goes to court and everyone sees the truth, they can decide. As for now, I'm not playing the social media game and ruining my case. That was pretty smart.
Yeah, and then Lydia posted all of it. So good for her.
Yep. I'm very heartbroken about that.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I didn't want to happen.
And especially if she didn't have permission to release those private messages, that was totally inappropriate.
Very inappropriate.
So after you came out and exposed everything, Jihoon went on social media and poured his heart out in a lengthy statement. He seems heartbroken over the breakup, but you've moved on and you have a new man in your life and you're happy now.
So I haven't exposed anything on the internet. I want to make that clear. The only thing I've ever said is he did something vile. That's the only thing I've ever said on the internet. As for these texts being released, it was way after his statement. I don't know what made him do that statement. I never told anyone what was going on. As for the Lydia message, that was literally, I sent her that yesterday. As for my boyfriend, I'm very happy. I'm very thankful for him. We've known each other for a while, and he's just been there for me during this difficult time. He's very kind, and he never wanted anything to do with the show. He's not interested in it. He's not interested in like social media, that kind of stuff. So it kind of bugs him when people are like, talking about his acting career, even though he hasn't acted in 6 years. But no, he's very supportive, and I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're happy. What's your response to Jihoon's lengthy statement about everything, the 12-page letter?
I think he released it because the night before I had asked him a serious question about if he was working on those fake documents with this YouTuber. And instead of replying, he decided to do that. I think he's doing it because he knows what he did to my daughter. He knows all the abuse, all of the bad stuff that happened. And I think he's trying to deflect before the information gets out there. I think he's trying to come up with a cover story and an excuse as to why he may have done something before it gets out there. Because before this, it wasn't out there. The only thing that was ever said was he did something vile to my daughter. I've never talked about his parents publicly. I've never done any of that. It was all fan speculation at that point, and everything he was hearing was fan speculation.
Ugh.
And it's very sad. And the statement, it doesn't make sense. Half of it, him saying, oh, I've worked the whole time, and then him being like, oh yeah, she paid for everything. It's a contradiction. Him saying, I haven't seen my son in over a year. People know I came back in May. That's a contradiction. Him trying to defend him hurting her, even though no one knew that he pulled her hair beforehand, is a contradiction. Him trying to put it on her being a bad child, even though he knows how my daughter really is, and he knows how the show edited her, and he knows it was just a storyline, and it wasn't real. And he's using the fact that it was just a storyline and not real because he knows that's what fans think. So he's going to try and use this fake storyline and use it to hurt my daughter, because all he's doing is putting the fans to attack my daughter with his statements. I'm getting messages saying they hope she gets ran over by a car. They hope she gets, they hope this, just all these disgusting, gross things from his fans who are on his page. And I told him that. I said, you do know your false statements is causing this. And all he says is, well, those aren't my fans. And I've confronted him on why he lied. And I have a video. I have all these videos. I've been collecting videos. I have videos of the bad things he did. I have videos of fights. I have all this stuff. And it will come out eventually.
Monica, I'm sending you a text right now. Put this so everybody can see it, please. I got incoming intel right now as we speak, because now, Lydia's texting me, and I am over it.
Send it to me.
I just texted you a screenshot of a text that I've been sitting on for quite a while between Deavan and Jihoon. Also, Lydia is texting me as we speak, saying horrible things to me, and you know what? I'm over it. Now, Deavan, Deavan, are you happy that Lydia, not that she posted it, but that Lydia gave another blogger your private conversations about something that you kept close to the vest?
No, I'm not happy about it. I get her intentions, and I appreciate her standing up for my daughter. But I was not happy about the text being released. No, I think it's something you need to ask for permission for. And I'm still very hurt by that. I am happy and I feel good that she's trying to stand up for my daughter, but it could potentially hurt my case too. And in the text messages, the reason why I said the reason why I'm upset is because in the straight messages I had asked her, please don't tell anyone. And when I say please don't tell anyone, I make sure it's clear every time I message someone. Even with John, I've told him stuff like, oh, please don't tell anyone, you know. And those are stuff that you can post it. Yeah.
I see the comments also, and people are saying, oh, but John said this and John said that. Listen, when I see you getting beat up every day, and people like just in the comments now, like I think it's like 90% people that hate you, and like you have 10% people that are like, you know, quasi understanding or whatnot. You know, it's much, and like, you know, it's really crazy that people, like, you know, we're talking about a child and they're saying Driscella deserved it. She's unbehaved. Devan's lying because they see you on the TV show, or they see you with like a new guy and they think, oh, well then, you know, she's not being forthcoming. You know, she's a liar. She's another Ashley. Like, you know, I don't ever recall you going to the hospital faking illnesses to get GoFundMe money. I don't recall you selling stories to outlets because, you know, that was the only thing you could do. You know, you've kept yourself, you know, your story to yourself. And like, you know, when I stepped in was because I couldn't take the beating that you were getting anymore. And like, you know, I'm a blogger. I post about cast members. Am I biased at points? Absolutely. You know, when did I learn my lesson from Ashley? Absolutely. And if I'm going that strong for you, it must mean that like I know something that nobody else does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think people don't realize that John has seen the evidence. He's seen everything, and he's seen it as a friend. As with other cast members, they show people this to put it out there. When I show John, it's as a friend, and I'm asking him not to put it out there. That's the difference between me and other cast. Is when me and Sean talk, it's friend to friend. I'm not asking him to put it out there because I don't want him to. That's just us being friends. And you've seen it. Cheryl's seen it. And when people call her biased too, but when you guys see this evidence and see what's actually going on in the truth, I think everyone's mind is going to change and it will eventually come out. And when that happens, that's up to the fans to decide. I don't care which side they take as long as my daughter is safe and my son is safe.
What do you say to the people, Devan, who call you a professional victim? Who like in the comments right now? What say you about that?
I'm not the victim here. Driscella's the victim. You can say whatever you want about me, but Driscella, this is for Driscella. This has nothing to do with me. This is to protect my child. And his statements after what he did to her and knowing what he did to her, and now he's telling lies so fans will send death threats and say they hope she gets caught by a pedo, like gross stuff. And he's over here laughing about it. It's not about me. This is about my daughter. This is about justice for her. I don't give a fuck about me. I'm not saying, oh, poor Devan, poor me. I'm saying like, no, this is what's going on. And it's disgusting that this is happening to my child. So I don't understand why people think I'm playing the victim when it has nothing to do with me.
Guys, I just want to say to the people in the chat, you have to remember there is a child involved here. And regardless of what you see on TV, or if she's misbehaved or she's bratty, wishing death on a child and calling a child a liar or saying a child deserves to be battered is just unacceptable. And you people really need to reevaluate yourselves because that's just not going to be tolerated, period. I have that text message, John. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Do you want to explain what it means?
Go ahead. I see that, like, Jihoon's been playing the card where, oh, I can't see my son. I don't want, I just want to have him in my life. But according to this right here, Jihoon is, nonchalant about it. Well, you know what? You have a new man, so he should be responsible. And I'm sorry, just like I said earlier, I can't see Deavan getting beat down like this, because when, like, you've seen the stuff I see when you've had Deavan on the, like Deavan said earlier, like crying on the phone, and Deavan was coming close to committing suicide over like this stuff, and I've been down that road, and I've been vocal about that, and that, that really struck a chord with me. And Deavan told me that, and then instead of I asked her earlier, instead of when she told me that, and she said she reached out to TLC, what did they do? Instead of getting her help, they showed up with a film crew at her door. And there's so much more to the story than what people can see. And it's just recently that all of a sudden now, Jihoon's playing this like as a game. You know what I mean? He's seeing that he has momentum on social media, in this chat, everywhere else. And he's got the people with him, and the Lord Jesus Christ can come down right now and tell everybody in this chat room, me, Deavan, Monica, whoever else, that Jihoon is a liar, and nobody would believe it. They say, well, Jesus, you deserve to get crucified. And that's what they would have said. It's just like, I'm being like, this is supposed to be like, an unbiased interview. And I'm kind of, jumping ship right here, but like I'm reading these comments and I cannot believe what I'm reading, and I'm sick over it, because if you think that Deavan deserves this, she doesn't. But like, goddamn, Driscella does not deserve this. If she was the most unworldly child, like bratty, misbehaved, whatever, she's a child. And I'm not even a parent, and I'm disgusted by this. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine. I know that people in these comments, they all have kids, and like, what, everybody raised perfect kids? No, nobody ever had like a bratty kid or a misbehaved kid, or no one ever a kid that ran wild. Like, no one ever, because I have plenty of friends, nieces, nephews that I have that like have the same boat. And I wouldn't wish that on them. I just, I'm sorry. I'm just going to shut up.
John, do you want to address this text message you sent me?
Which one? The
one I put on the screen that we were going to talk about.
I thought I just did.
Oh, I don't know. Did you?
I thought I did.
No, we talked when you started talking like something totally different.
Yeah, I started off that rant by saying that, Jihoon has been saying, I want to see my son. I want to have my son back in my life, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But here in this text, he's saying like, why should I be responsible for this kid anymore since you have a new man?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Some people were asking about that for clarification. My goodness, there's a lot involved here. And like I said before, the child is the most important person in all of this. We're not here to take sides. Deavan has a story to tell. We gave her a platform, and people just need to respect that. She has a story to tell, and Jihoon has his side, and he's going to tell his side. And no one's beating him up and, making all these comments about him. I have a question for you, Deavan. During a preview, they showed some type of accident that was caught off camera where Driscella ran off someplace and she was close to getting hurt. Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, so that's what caused all of this drama to begin with, was that one episode. That's when everyone started attacking me. So that day, we had been, as you guys can tell, it's daytime when we started filming, and then it's night all of a sudden. Now, we had been filming that same scene for like 12 hours. And just that same conversation for 12 hours, and I don't know why. And at this point, they said, let's just get it done. And Driscella had ran off, and we grabbed her, right, to finish the scene. And that's what you guys saw on TV, was that scene when we're all just kind of irritated at that point. We just want to get the scene finished. Now, we had stopped filming. We had wrapped it up. Now, I am walking to the car with my son. I can't remember why I was walking to the car. Like, this was over a year ago, guys. And I think I was like changing his diaper in the car. I can't remember why me and him were in the car. And Jihoon was supposed to be, holding Driscella's hand, because I think we were going to drive to pick up dinner or something. And I had looked up, and Driscella was in the middle of the road. Now, I had yelled at him to go grab her, like any parent would, like, go grab her, go grab her. And during this point in time, a car was approaching her. And now I want everyone to keep in mind, she was 2, almost 3 when we filmed this. People seem to get it confused because she's older now. We did film all of this. Season 1 and season 2 were all filmed within a 6-month period together. We filmed back to back for both seasons, and all of this was almost 2 years ago. And he had turned around as the car was approaching, and in that moment started to curse me out and yell at me as the car was approaching her. Now, he had upset my mother because Driscella almost got hit by a car when he was the one who was watching her. And I know everyone says, it's not his responsibility to watch her, but at this point in time, we were married. And like any parent, you would think your husband would help with the kids while you have the baby in the car. But instead, he was on his phone texting people, I can't say who, and not paying attention to her. And she was just walking around. Children think everything's safe. They don't realize the dangers. And it is by a park, so you would just assume, oh, this is part of the park. And during that, him and my mother had gotten into a yelling fight with each other. And then the cameras kind of hurried and came. And that's like, you do see this part where my producer on the TV show is like, hey, what happened? Tell me what happened. And I still don't understand why people didn't catch that in the episode, because obviously, why is she asking me what happened if you guys were filming it and caught it on film? But no one put that together. And I explained to her what happened. And because we didn't have our microphones on. The next day, they made us go into the middle of the street with the microphones, and they said, hey, just yell into the middle of the street what you said yesterday. We'll put a cue card in saying we didn't film it, and then we'll just include this audio. So can you redo the audio? I was like, sure. So we redo the audio to make it sound like that's exactly what was said, and that's what they captured. Now, as for Jihoon, he didn't say what he actually said in his audio recording, and that's the recording of him saying, stop yelling at me. In reality, it was him cursing and freaking out, and I knew he wasn't going to record what he really said. Now, TLC later came out and apologized and admitted to that scene not being captured on camera, and saying they messed up, they should have put the cue card in, our bad, that's not what happened. But people seem to think what was shown is what happened, even though countless times TLC has admitted to it. Everyone's admitted to it not being what really happened, but that's what happened.
Thank you for explaining that. The way they show the preview, it looked so dramatic.
Yeah.
John, what are your thoughts?
I'm just like looking at the comments, and I'm like, people are going off on your mom now, Deavan, Alicia, and oh well, Alicia did this and she said that, and she disrespected Jihoon. To the people in the comments, I want to ask you: you've never had a mother-in-law or a father-in-law not like you? Like, have you? Like, I know, is that like so off the wall that like, oh no, someone's mother-in-law is not happy with like their like, you know, their kid's spouse, like that's new to everybody. Like that it's just crazy to me. Like, you know, there's a reason why there are so many mother-in-law jokes in the world. And everyone's acting as though like, oh well, his, you know, the mother-in-law didn't like Jihoon. Well, oh my God, like, wow, that is just earth-shattering news. Like, I can't believe it. Like, wow, and a mother-in-law didn't like, like it's insane.
So my mother has came out and apologized about threatening him several times. She even apologized to him and he forgave her. Now, as for kind of explaining why she was so upset, you guys should have heard the vile, horrible things he was saying in that moment. And I think any mother would have kind of lost their cool. Am I saying it's okay to threaten that? No, but she has apologized for that. And you guys need to take into consideration, this is a man who did not come to America when his son was born. He could have came to America. We had the money to get him to America. He chose not to come to America to see his son be born. And his son was in the NICU for 3 weeks with me in the hospital. And I had preeclampsia, so I was also hospitalized. He did not come to meet his son till a month later, while his son was dying in the hospital. But yet he deserves his son. He needs his son. I have to pay for his son to go there. The man who abused, who hurt my daughter, who didn't care his son was in a hospital dying. And he claims he didn't come because of work, even though his work, he had quit that job long ago. And instead, he was actually in reality filming with TLC, filming drinking scenes, filming club scenes that they didn't include the first season and are probably saving for the second season. He would rather do the TV show than be in the hospital when his son has 2 holes in his lungs and is dying. We didn't know if Taeyang was going to make it. If he really cared about his son, he would have came to America. And the same goes for right now. I'm not saying he can't see his son. I'm saying that Korea has a mandatory 2-week quarantine, as America does not have a quarantine. So why should I have to go out of my way to bring my son there when this man couldn't even come when he was dying in the hospital? Why is that mine? He can come here and not have to go through quarantine, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to do that. And for the phone calls and all of that, he has told me countless times, I don't want my son. If my son ever sees me in person, I'm just going to tell him I'm his uncle. He's called me disgusting names on the phone when I'm trying to talk to him. He had blocked me off of social media. He had blocked ways of getting in contact with Taeyang. And the day he posted that rant, I had let him FaceTime my son. And that was the first day he ever asked about my son in 2 months. Was like, hey, can I FaceTime him after 2 months of not talking to me and saying he wants nothing to do with my son? And then he has the nerve to do a live and say, you know, I didn't know about the relationship. I didn't know. When he's known about this relationship for months, and he's known about Chris, and he's known about all of this, but he decided to go public with it and lie and say he didn't know. And those messages you're seeing were a week before his live when he said, oh, I didn't know anything. I can't believe this. It's ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
Like, I know it's like, you know, like with as far as your mom's concerned, like, yeah, the threatening, yeah, I get it, but like, I've been called worse by my mother-in-law, that's for sure. Like, you know, like these people want to find fault with anything. Like, I feel like these people like won't believe you no matter what you would say, and no matter what evidence you come up with, and it's crappy. When's the last time you talked to Jihoon? I can hear you. Are you there?
Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
So the last time I spoke to him was when he made those statements. I had actually called him and I asked him and I confronted him and I said, "Why are you lying? Why would you do this to Driscella?" And he retaliated and got very angry and cursed and hung up the phone. As for like him saying him and his family have tried, they haven't. I keep my Line app for him. I have tried messaging him on there, asking questions. I had messaged him like just simple questions like, "Hey, there's this certain toy I left there. Can you mail it here? Because Taeyang can't sleep at night without it." And as you guys may know, he recently moved. That was the apartment I was paying for. That was my apartment. And he decided to throw away everything, all of my son's belongings, all of Driscella's belongings. I don't know why. It's really sad because I was only asking for 3 things. I was asking for Driscella's Chuck E. Cheese doll, because as you guys may know, Chuck E. Cheese is going out of business. It's very sad. That's her favorite place in the world, and we left the doll there. Taeyang's Teletubby doll, which happens to be his favorite show, and it's also my same doll I had when I was 3. And also an octopus doll that my aunt Allison, who sadly passed away 2 years ago, made for me when I was pregnant. And those were the only 3 items I was ever asking for. And he decided to toss all of it and just sell the furniture, took the money. I don't know what he did with the money. As for like him paying me on Cameo to support Taeyang, his Cameo is like $300 a month, and it wasn't to pay for Taeyang. It was more like they had to pay him through PayPal, and he isn't allowed to have a PayPal because of illegal stuff or whatever. He got banned, so he had to use my PayPal. And I had messaged him saying, "I can still give you this. Like, how do I transfer it to you?" And he was like, "No, just keep it for Taeyang." And this is like $300. And he had asked for that money back. So I don't know why he would say that. And then he was trying to say, "Oh, I'm spending his money on my boyfriend," which is ridiculous. Because first of all, it's $300 a month. That would pay for diapers maybe. Secondly, my boyfriend's an accountant in Beverly money.
People are saying in the comments about like a ring that you're wearing. Do you have like an engagement ring on or something like that? Like, just ask her about the ring. Ask her about the ring.
No, it's an Amazon ring.
Deavan, I actually have those text messages, John, that Lydia has sent you during this interview, and they're quite explosive. I'll pull them up on the screen.
And I apologize because like I was live when I was replying and mad, so like my grammar and spelling were awful. But like, yeah. So go ahead.
I think you handled it appropriately for the things that she was saying. I'll pull them up. Can you guys see that?
Like my spelling and
I'll read them. I'll read them out loud. So it says, I don't effing post it. I guess she's saying she didn't post it. I only sent screenshots of the conversation I had with Deavan, and Yahoo Boy was the one who posted on the live. Stop saying I posted everything. Girl, you were on the live. You gave them to Yahoo Boy, and clearly he had your permission to post them. I highly doubt Yahoo Boy would post private text messages involving abuse without Lydia's permission.
And I'm sure that Yahoo Boy, like you just said, like Yahoo Boy said, like, well, can I post? Can I show these?
Of
And
course he did.
like, yeah.
He has integrity. Of course he asked. He got her permission to post that, and she said yes. So then, John, you say I gave it. You gave it to Yahoo. You told her, yeah. What does that say?
Wasn't your place.
Okay. Do you want to read it?
Well, I said, wasn't your place. She goes, I did give it to Yahoo. I go, that was private. She writes back, but he's the one who put it on the live, not me.
So?
Well, like, if you didn't give it to him, then he would have done that. And I said, you effed her over, just like you did me and Larissa. And like that's like another issue. that me and Lydia are having at the moment. And if you want to go to the next slide, I said you asked me over just like you did me. I effing stand up for her, unlike you. And like, now listen, Deavan, have I not been the only person, the only blogger in your corner since day one?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Sorry. No, yeah, no. John's the only blogger that has been on my side since day one. And me and him, it's because we're friends and we talk as friends. I don't talk to him to share my dirty laundry. Half the stuff I've ever told him, he's never shared because we have that friendship.
And then she says, well, I effing stand up for her, unlike you. Well, like, you know, in the past 3 weeks, let's just talk about Lydia for a moment. You know, Lydia and Larissa were thick as thieves. And now they're not. And then me and Lydia were thick as thieves. And now we're not. And now Lydia, in a bold move, went against Deavan. I don't care if you want to say that Lydia was doing this for friendship or for not, but like, listen, Lydia should never have done that. Sorry. And you know, it only made things 100 times worse because when that live happened, all the other bloggers were posting crap. Well, now look what, so it's okay for Deavan to say this and Deavan to say that, and Deavan's leaking stuff to Lydia, and Deavan's doing this and Deavan's doing that, and you know, so it made things 100 times worse. So she goes, go to effing Carmen and Larissa then. Go ahead. I said, and F off. You know, and I took a million bullets for Lydia. I did. Like, you know, it was very hard to be Lydia's friend on social media. I would get 100 messages a day saying, how could you be friends with her? She's an awful person. She kicked out Tasha. She's a racist. She's a homophobe. She's this, she's that, she's the other. And, you know, at the end of the day, I look at people and I'm like, well, she's been good to me. So that's that. But clearly, when you don't sign, you know, it's her way or the highway. And that's that. And, you know, I have posted people screenshots. I'm not saying I'm an angel. I'm innocent. No, nothing. If you've been following me for a while, like, you know what I'm about. But I would have never, ever, 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 ever done something like this to somebody. Like, you know, you just don't post something like this. Like when you're trying to be their friend, like, you know, and Lydia has been just so desperately trying to, like, you know, she has nobody who she's friends with on the cast anymore. She's ruined every relationship with the cast members. And now she's ruined her relationship with me. And now she has like 2 bloggers that she goes to. And that's that. And I'm just disgusted, you know, that she would do that. Like, you know, I called Deavan last night. We were driving, we were Ubering, we were delivering food, and I saw someone text me and they said, Lydia is giving Yahoo screenshots of Lydia and Deavan's texts on a live right now, and I had to pull over the car, right, Cody?
Yep.
Like, pull 100%. Over, take money out of her own pocket, pull over the car, and I had to call Deavan. I said, do you know, because I was like, maybe, like, you know, Deavan told Lydia to do that. Like, you know, I don't know. And I called Deavan. I said, Deavan, do you know what's going on right now that Lydia's, because like, I know that Deavan has stuff going on the side and like, you know, this is serious crap. And she goes, no. And I said, well, you better look. And that's that. So
because you were being a good friend.
Yeah.
That's what a friend does. Mm-hmm. That's a true friend.
I'm good.
Deavan, people are asking if you're pregnant. Can you stand up and show them how flat your stomach is? I saw you standing up and it was flat as a washboard.
I think it's because I wear like a lot of high.
Monica just pulled like, can you like put the glove on? That's what Monica just did.
I'm definitely not pregnant, guys. I've been getting a little bit more weight, but that's just because I'm happy and I've actually been eating a lot. I think it's stemming from leaked, like someone saw me at Lagoon which is an amusement park, and they posted the photos everywhere, and they are the most unflattering photos in the whole world. No, I'm not pregnant. I am on birth control. I am being safe. It's not going to happen for a long time.
We've answered this already. She's not engaged. It was an Amazon ring. What kind of ring was that?
It's an Amazon one. It's like the teardrop one on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that was real, guys, that would be a lot of freaking money. So it's not. It's an Amazon ring.
Yeah. She's not pregnant. She's not engaged. Now, what's your status right now with TLC?
I don't know. Like if they were to ask me to do another season, I don't want to. I'm not about reality TV. I don't like it. It's something that is not anything I would like to pursue. I want to, do my own stuff and continue with my own businesses and what I'm working on. And I'm working on a lot right now. As a lot of people may know, Christopher, my boyfriend, he has a fashion magazine that we're working on, which will come out in December. So that's kind of fun. And then we are also currently making a documentary on everything that's been happening. And that will be released in December. And it's a full-blown documentary. We're working really hard on it. And hopefully when people see that, they can decide for themselves what they believe is real and what is not real. But this type of documentary is going to be the complete opposite of reality TV. It's going to show who I really am and who my kids really are and the huge difference between reality TV and actual reality, and the harms it can do.
Some people in the chat are saying that they thought you had a brain disorder, so you couldn't be on birth control. Can you clarify that?
So I do have a neurological disorder. It causes me to have really bad side effects to any type of medication, drug, anything like that. So I do not take any type of medications. I try and stay away from that because I do get all the side effects. I do have really bad seizures all the time. It's something I'm dealing with. It was supposed to be on the show, and we filmed a whole segment about it and explaining my medical problems. Because it was really scary during the time we were filming. I was in and out of the ER a lot, but they never included it. But yes, certain hormonal birth controls, my body does react bad to, and I do end up having seizures if I'm on it. But the one I'm on right now, I'm trying a new one. It's a non-hormonal one, and it seems to be fine. I've only had a little bit of swelling from it. Which is like where the pregnancy rumors are coming from, I'm thinking, because I do still have post-eclampsia. I get really bad, I forget the medical term, but like your skin bloats really, really big. You just get very swollen everywhere. And I have very high blood pressure. So it causes that to happen. But the one I'm using right now, I had a little bit of swelling in the beginning, but it seems to be like just fine. So it seems to be working good for this new one I'm trying, which is a non-hormonal one.
I have a question. So, to everybody in the comments, when you feel like a problem in your life and people ask you what's going on and you don't want to explain it, do you just tell them every intimate detail of your life, or you just say everything's going right, or we're good, or I love him, or you just tell people what they want to hear because you don't want to tell people every intimate detail of your life. I've known with me, when I've been down, people would ask me what's going on, John? I'm like, well, everything's great, blah, blah, blah. But everything's not great. Everyone keeps calling Deavan a liar, and maybe her stories haven't lined up. But, does Deavan have to tell every single person out there in the world what what's really going on in her life because she was just on a TV show. Oh, and then the people say, well, she signed up for reality TV, so we're all worthy of that information. No, you're worthy of the information that you get watching her on TV. All this other information is on the side. You know what I mean? Like, so because Deavan's been on TV and she's going through crap at the moment, she, you know, if things are going bad, she can't say to somebody, oh, you know, I'm great. Meanwhile, things are not great. But like, why does she have to tell everybody every detail of her life? Like, is she getting paid to tell everybody what's really going down in her life? Or like, does she have to keep up a facade? And I think that's like a difference.
John, we have Lydia in the chat somewhere. Folks are commenting that she's here. Oh no, absolutely not. This is Deavan's interview. She has the platform. We've addressed Lydia and the things that she's done, which in my personal opinion seems underhanded. So
it wasn't minute. She threw Deavan under the bus. That's what she did. I mean, like, yeah. I'm sorry. That's what she did. And, you know, Lydia has this, you know, she threw Larissa under the bus like 2 weeks ago when, you know, look at all Lydia's old tweets and her old stories. Like, you know, Lydia was, you know, Larissa's best friend. And then once I didn't jump on the let's gang up on Larissa bandwagon, she threw me under the bus. And that's how Lydia works. And that's that.
I have to chime in real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. My son just woke up, so I gotta go. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much, honey, and you have a great evening. And thank you so much for doing this interview.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Deavan. Take care. Okay. John.
I'm like my hands are crossed. Like I'm like all like in like defense mode right now.
Let's answer some questions in the chat. Let's go through it. Let's see here. There's so many. Okay. All right. You want to tackle some, John? Can you see the comments?
Yep. Shoot him out, Monica. Let's do it.
It says, why people trust Lydia?
You know, like it's hard for me because, like, you know, Lydia was one of my good friends. Like, you know, and it's hard for me to talk badly about her because, like, you know, we've been like good friends for like 2 years now. And at the drop of a hat, she dismissed me and unfollowed me and blocked me because I was on Team Larissa and she was on Team Larissa. And, you know, when I made that post, like, you know, about the arrest, like a couple of weeks ago, I said, like, you know, here's my thoughts on this subject. And, you know, I respectfully disagree with other bloggers and cast members, and here's my standing, and here's why. And like none of the other bloggers came at me, but Lydia was the one. Well, how dare you not jump on the Let's Hate Larissa bandwagon, like, and join my team? Like, well, first of all, Lydia, weren't you on the Larissa team like a minute ago? And B, like, why would you want me to change my thoughts on Larissa? Like, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, now trust me, people, like I had 8 million people tell me to block Lydia, to not talk to Lydia. I lost followers because I'm friends with Lydia. You know, but I didn't let that change my thoughts on Lydia. I just said, like, you know what, that opinion, and this is mine, and here's why I'm friends with her, and that's that. So, you know, yeah. I mean, I could show you more text if you want.
I've been seeing a lot of comments. Well, first, thank you, Cynthia. We appreciate the love and the support. John, I'm seeing a reoccurring comment of we're not being objective. I wish people would go look up the definition of a blog. I really wish they would. If you look up the definition of a blog, it basically states that it's the blogger's opinion.
Right.
It's their personal opinion.
That's why people follow bloggers, certain bloggers, and that's why they follow other bloggers. Like, every blogger has their opinion. Like, I mean, like, this is not like CNN or Fox News or like, MSNBC. Like, we're all in the reality world. We all see cast members from different shows, and we formulate our own opinions based on what we see and what we saw and like their posts and their actions on TV and this and the other. And that's why people follow us. It's because we have a voice and because we say things that, certain people don't say. So like, if there would be no bloggers if we just had no opinion on it. Like, people want to hear people's side on things, and that's that.
Yeah. Leo says, didn't y'all say that you wouldn't be biased though? Leo, where did I say that, baby? Send me a screenshot or an audio recording because I'm very biased. I pick a side. However, in this situation, I don't have a side. I'm team the child. I want the best for the child involved. There's children involved, for God's sake. And I saw some of the comments about this child and I was disgusted. I can't believe adults, they should be embarrassed and ashamed of themselves talking about a child like that. There's an abuse allegation that, I didn't make the allegation. John didn't make the allegation. Deavan came on to discuss the situation and what she saw and what she experienced. And I'm pretty sure Jihoon he admitted to pulling the hair. That's one thing. But I'm pretty sure he has his side to tell. Would we be open to interviewing Jihoon? Why not? I would be open to interviewing him. Wouldn't you? Would you, John?
Yeah, absolutely. In the spirit of fairness, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm always biased, but in this situation, I'm objective. I don't have a side.
Everyone's biased. All of us bloggers are biased. Like, you go to every blogger, whether it's Housewives, 90 Day Fiance, whatever reality show, like, if you follow a blogger, they all have their opinions on everything. Every blogger and like has their opinion. Everyone is biased. Like, It's not like, even in the real news, everyone's biased. I mean, like, come on.
Everybody is biased, but I mean, I don't really care. That's not an insult to me. I'm gonna let you know right now that I'm not. I'm usually not. I usually pick a side. In this situation, though, I am objective. I don't really have a side besides the well-being of the child. That's all I care about in this particular situation.
Put in the comments like bloggers who aren't biased. Like, I would love to see that because.
John, should we have people call in? Do you want people to call in?
Sure, why not? Let's do it. Like, you know what?
We might as well. I have 20 more minutes to spare. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem interviewing Jihoon. It would be good to hear his side. We would need an interpreter, right? I mean, how would that work?
Well, probably, yeah, I mean, his English isn't that great, so. John, did Deavan actually videotape Jihoon pulling?
I'm over here putting people in timeout. Y'all need to behave yourselves.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I post about Deavan, I post about Jihoon, and I try to post about, but if Deavan posts a story about something, I post it. If Jihoon posts a story, I post both sides. And let's say from Deavan, from Jihoon. Like,
Tracy's here. I'm going to add Tracy to the chat. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. So I believe like 80% of what Deavan said. And the reason that I say that is because I wholeheartedly believe her on the abuse allegations. Well, not abuse, but let's say of what's going on between Jihoon and kind of what he did with Driscella. Like that piece, I wholeheartedly believe. I think it, to me, just sounded a little more like she was maybe not putting in her part of what happened. So that's why it seemed or felt a little one-sided, like it was all him and there was no, okay, well, this is the whole thing of what happened. And I understand she's saying, I can't completely speak of what actually happened. But I think that's also maybe one of the reasons why people are kind of coming so hard for her in the comments, because we're missing that. Okay, well, what happened? Like, what did you do? Because I just have a hard time believing your husband pulls your child's hair out and all you do is videotape it. Like, I guess that maybe I missed the part of what she did. Like, maybe that's the part that I kind of missed, where I was like, I believe what she said happened, but I'm just missing like her part. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally makes sense. I mean, John?
Yeah, like, I mean, everybody wants proof, right? Like, they want, like, you know, videos and, but, like, you know, say this was like a sexual harassment case, right? And somebody claimed sexual harassment, right? And then, you know, it happened and nobody wanted to hear it. Why? Like that, like I keep thinking back to that, like, so like something bad happened and then you speak about it and like then nobody wants to hear it. Like, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a real mess.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your opinions, Tracy. We appreciate you calling in.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Tracy.
Have a good evening. Morris says, why though? Unless they totally out of pocket, do you have to put them in timeout? People can disagree. Absolutely, people can disagree. But when you start coming for John on this channel, no, baby, you're going to be putting time out. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Look, like, you know, I appreciate that and like I get it, but like, you know, I may be privy to more information that most know. And I would not be going out on this ledge if I didn't think what I was saying was true. You know, people don't want to believe me. They think I have like a bad connotation with Ashley and like how I defended her, which I understand. But you know, I was right about Larissa getting fired, and I have the information about her arrest, and nobody wanted to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear it. And then yesterday, when Lydia dropped what Deavan was saying about the abuse, nobody's seen that. And I was right again. That like, so you know, I would not put myself out there if I didn't know what I was saying was like, you know, remotely true. And you know, the same goes with Paul. Like, you know, I'm going to have Paul on in like a little bit. And, you know, me and Paul have been frenemies since like day one. But, you know, I defended Paul because I knew at the end of the day that Paul was not the person that these horrible claims were being made against him, just like Deavan. And, you know, and now look, Karini is back with Paul. And they're back in the same house. And you know, had Paul done all those horrible things to Karini, would Karini be back in the house with Paul with the children? Absolutely not. And like I said that from jump. And
I'm gonna add Amma C to the chat. Hey, Amma.
Oh, hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you, sweetie? Thank you for the love, the comments, and the support.
Oh my God, this is like I was reading the comments and I'm like, are people actually serious? Like a child got her hair ripped out of her head for what? Just like maybe what, running around wild? That makes absolutely no sense.
So do
Like for
you
people
feel
to
like she deserved that? Like, could you imagine like feeling?
absolutely not.
Thank you.
Like a child does not deserve any points of physical or verbal abuse whatsoever, regardless of what the parents are going through. Like that child did not deserve any of that, whether or not he was drunk, whether or not he's dealing with PTSD, whatever the case may be, the child does not deserve any of that. Like I'm just appalled by the
Mhm.
comments. Absolutely. Like I had to kind of type in and say, what the hell are people going through? Like, what are you bringing into this that you feel like you could defend that character? Like, there's no excuse for that. It's like acting like a molester or like a rapist. Oh, but what does she wear? It's her fault. Like, it's maniacal, really. Like the way people are like treating a little girl, like forget about Devin, forget about Jihoon. The little girl is the one that felt that pain, you know?
And I want to make a
And
point,
no,
like
that was like no one
the
even
comments.
asked, like, is the child okay? Like, is the kid fine?
Oh, no one cares about the child. Like, look at the comments. But so if I said like I got like sexually harassed at work, right, by somebody, would you imagine the parade of crap that I got? And people ask if, well, where's the proof? Oh, don't
Yeah.
blame the victim. Don't
That,
ever blame the abused. It's insane. Like the double standard that's being held here, and we're talking
hmm
about a child. And that's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine saying that stuff about look at like the Me Too movement and like Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff and let's use Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan put all this stuff out there about Harvey Weinstein. So did anybody ask Rose McGowan, let me see the pictures of you and him? Let me see the videos of you and him. Oh, did that happen once?
No, nope. It's embarrassing really to even see that people's mind kind of work like this, for them to even ask proof or even act as if she owes them an explanation. Like, are you guys the police? Are you guys in a judge or a lawyer handling
Mhm.
this case for her? Like, if you care that much, then go and talk to her as a person and say, yo, we really care. What's going on? Can we help out? Like, be a human out of everything instead of like trying to find fault and blame. And especially with the whole thing with like why does she stay with him? She wanted to
Mhm.
create a family with a man that she had a little bit of faith with.
Mhm.
I'm sure in her mind she didn't even think he was going to abuse her child, but it happened and she left. Bless
Yep.
her. Bless her.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ama. You just
Thank
bring so
you.
Thank
much
you, Mama.
levity to the situation and love
Yeah.
and support and kindness. We thank you.
And John too, I feel you for defending your friends because I would do absolutely the same thing. Bless you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you guys.
You have a great weekend, honey.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
I'm gonna add. Oh, where did she go? Honesty into the chat. Hi, Honesty. Hello. Okay, she's not there. I'm gonna add Jamal to the chat. Hey, Jamal.
Hey, Jamal.
Hey guys, sorry if my connection's bad. But it's just the interview I thought was really, really good. I do feel bad for Driscella, but my only thing is this: this should not play out in public. It just shouldn't, because it's like the child's involved, and you don't want your child hearing things inadvertently, things like that. And then when you do go public, it's natural to ask like, hey, like, what happened? Like, is there a police report? Like we just want to know, fill in all the gaps, because when you say you can't talk about the case, but then you go public with the case, it confuses people. So I can see where people want to know, but to be disrespectful towards her was not the best look. I don't agree with that, because at the end of the day, she is a mother, and you should always be
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic to the mother, and at least try to be understanding and just say, like, you know what, if she's coming out with this, there may be some truth. There may be some truth with Jihoon. So basically, there's two sides, and then there's the truth. So we should all just like kind of step back a little bit and just wait till everything plays out, and then make our judgment.
Absolutely. Good points, Jamal.
I just want to know, like, when everybody turned into Perry Mason. Like, oh my God. Like, when did everybody turn into Perry Mason? Like, I want to know. Like, I don't understand it. Like, has been, like, everybody watching too much Law and Order? Like, where, like, they need, like, you know, like, they have, like, DA on the side, giving them, like, all the documents. Like, what's going on? Like, thanks, Jamal.
Yeah, I think people get touchy. Yeah, no worries. I think one more thing. I think people just get a little touchy when it comes to kids, and like when there's criminal charges involved, it makes people want to see everything. So yeah, that's just the way we are. So I understand that thing.
But there's no criminal charges. Like there's nothing. There's no charges. It's just like, you know.
But
I would like
she said she has an open case. So can you have an open case with no charges?
Well, there's a case, but like there's like, you know, it's open. So. If there were charges against anybody,
so I understand.
Okay. Thank you, Jamal.
My connection's really bad. No worries.
Okay, honey.
Bye,
take care. Bye. We're gonna add Veronica to the stream, and then hey, Veronica.
Hello.
Veronica.
I agree with Jamal. Yes. Hello.
Turn your mic up, honey. We can't.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, you sound kind of low. Turn your mic up.
Okay.
And you're having internet issues. Okay. I know you got to get out of here, John, but can we add one more person?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hi, Cherie.
Hi. I love your blogs, and I'm so glad that you're honest about your opinions, because some people hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't bother me. I love that you stick to what you want to say.
Thank you.
And I hope that Deavan does get justice for her daughter. I just wish that it didn't have to be so public, and I would never want to see any photos or proof of anything, because that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that everything comes to light, the truth that comes to light. And I do think that TLC does hide a lot, because they don't want people to know that, you know, their producers do a lot of things that they probably shouldn't do, and cover up things because they just want ratings. Come on now. Because they still have that family on the show who had, you know, some weird things going on within the family. You know, the one with all the children. That was strange that they're still on TV. But so I just don't trust them at all. But I do hope that her daughter does get justice for what was done, and that everybody gets the help that they need.
I totally agree. Thank you for sharing with us tonight, Sherry. You made some valid points. It all boils down to protecting the child, and everyone asking for proof and documentation and photos and videos. Y'all doing too much.
No, and I have worked with children that have been abused, because I used to work in the school district for years, and that's why I left it, because there were so many things that I didn't like. So I do understand that some people are overwhelmed, but it should never be taken out on the child.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing with us. You have a great evening and a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, Tree.
Thank you.
Bye, honey. Bye. All right, John. I know you're interviewing Paul pretty soon, so you have to hop off. I thought this was a good interview. What are your thoughts? Wrap up thoughts. All right, we'll talk offline.
Listen.
I know you're gonna call me.
In the background.
I know you're gonna call me anyway. Hey guys,
Listen, no, look, honestly, like Monica, I thought it was a great interview. I want to thank Deavan for hopping on. I want to thank people who kind of understood where I'm coming from, whether I'm her friend or not. I've seen enough proof to make me go, to make me go like, to make me feel a certain way about her. You know, at the end of the day, like Monica keeps saying, it's about the child. And I'm just like flabbergasted that like people in these comments and on Twitter and on Instagram and wherever else are saying, well, she was bratty, she deserved what she was getting. I mean, like that's what's being said, you know, and you know, as I've been a victim of child abuse, okay? And that's why I've been, you know, and Monica, you don't know this, nobody else knows this in here, but like, you know, like my nose was broken when I was 2 from my father. And I was thrown down a flight of stairs when I was 4 by my father because my father never believed I was a kid. So like this, and like I didn't say this to anybody here tonight, but like I have been a victim of child abuse. I had cigarette burns on my, like right here. There's a mark that's from a cigarette burn on my forehead from my dad. And ultimately, falling back to what I said earlier, like, you know, suicide. When Deavan talked about suicide to me, like it struck home with me because my mom committed suicide because my mom couldn't deal with the abuse I was getting from my. It's like a whole long convoluted thing. But like the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I've been in this seat where I've been abused by a parent, and you know, it like, you know, these kids have no one to speak for them. You know, and these people in the comments think that they know everything and they don't. So whatever. I don't want to make this a whole long soliloquy about like my past, but thank you, Monica, for having me on. And if in like, what time is it? In like a half hour, I'll be live with Paul. Cody wants to say hi.
Where can they find you? Where are you going live with Paul?
Hi, beautiful.
Hi, Cody. Hi, honey.
You're such a ray of sunshine. I love you.
I love you too.
Like, you know, child abuse isn't like fun. Like, you know, whether Devan's been on TV.
It doesn't matter what your background is or what your.
And people kept asking in the comments, like, have you?
Abuse is abuse.
I have seen the abuse. You know, I've seen the text. I have seen videos. I have seen it all. And it just breaks my heart because knowing what I went through as a kid, it's just disturbing. And I just get so mad at the people in the comments because they're like, you know, well, she was misbehaved. Well, I wasn't misbehaved. I was a perfect little angel when I was a kid, and got hit and got torn up and got this, that, and the other. So, you know, I guess nobody else has kids. You know, I guess everybody has the most perfectly well-behaved kids in the world. And you guys are so lucky. We're so blessed to have all you viewers with the most well-behaved kids in the world. So,
it doesn't
Monica,
matter
we're lucky.
So,
you know what?
Where can they find you? Because everyone wants to know where you're doing the Paul interview.
I will be live on my YouTube channel in like less than a half hour on youtube.com/JohnYates327. And that's where I'll be with Paul in a little bit. So
guys, when you get off of this live, head over to John's channel, John Yates 327. Paul is spilling all the tea, and that'll be another great interview.
Thank you, Monica. I want to thank Deavan. Thank the commenters. We love you all. We do love you.
We do love you. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's
God
right.
bless. Y'all stay safe.
God
and have a great
bless.
night.
Yes. Thank you. Love you,
Bye.
sweetie.
Love you too. Bye.